That was a compelling game between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. Going into this game, it probably had more stories than any other game in the NHL playoffs this year, and it did not disappoint. Both of these two teams pedal to the metal. The fans, the Winnipeg Jets fans, the whiteout, pedal to the metal. You were sitting on the edge of your seat the entire way through. There is a ton to break down. The main two storylines coming in. Number one, was Winnipeg mentally broken? Well, at home, the answer is no. Number two, Connor Hellebuyck. Should he be the goalie in the net? Obviously, yes, after that game. The storylines for the St. Louis Blues. No change needed for this game. They had a chance to adapt. Winnipeg went and won the first two games. Montgomery, the Blues adapted. The Blues won the next two. The Jets finally had their opportunity to adapt. Whoa, coach, why wouldn't they have adapted after 3? Well, 3 was so bad that you just kind of go back and try again, assuming it just went poorly. But after 4 happened, you go, all right, a change needs to happen. And it did happen. We're going to talk all about what those changes were for the Jets. The Blues didn't make a change. They didn't need to make a change. And the question at the end of this video for the Blues is, will they have to, and will they make a change for the next game? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm going to make you stick through the entire thing to hear about why. We're going to break down every aspect of this game. Binnington versus Hellebuyck. We're going to break down every hit. Mark Scheifele exits the game. We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about how the Blues went low to high and how the Jets stopped that. We're going to talk about how the Blues may have lost the battle, but did they win the war? And this was a war. We're going to talk about the fact that Winnipeg found its depth scoring. That was Team Winnipeg Jets hockey. That was Winnipeg Jets hockey that plays fast, top to bottom, all through the entire lineup. The Jets hit them with 4 lines. The Jets hit them with 3 pairs. We're going to talk about the return of Gabe Vilardi. So important to the Jets. Underratedly important unless you're from Winnipeg and you've been watching him all year. That addition to the roster was massive. We can't understate it. He got the first shot of the game. Almost scored a goal immediately. Did score a goal as it went through. Laid some huge hits. Is a big leader and has absolutely silky mitts, sick hands. Cole Perfetti looked good for the Winnipeg Jets. Josh Morrissey returns to form. And Logan Stanley is good? Maybe. What a big addition to the lineup there for Winnipeg. I thought he played excellent along with Luke Schenn. And you know, in Winnipeg, I don't know if anyone was actually excited for his return. A lot of times Winnipeg Jets fans, including myself, can think Stanley can cost you a game, but he has been quietly good in these playoffs. And you know who made mention of it? It was actually a couple guys from St. Louis. Brandon Kelly, Alex Ferrario, they had me on their show today on ESPN 101 in St. Louis. Big thanks to these guys. It was an absolute blast. Class acts, amazing representatives of the city of St. Louis. And this is the place where I want to show a little gratitude because they did mention on their show, Logan Stanley's returning. That's a player. Now, maybe they just saw the hit on Jordan Kyrou, or maybe they know something I don't, and the rest of us didn't. Because Logan Stanley did look good. I also, before we get to the goals, want to continue the path of gratitude. I want to say hi to my friend Ben from Hero Sushi. It's been really cool walking through the city of Winnipeg and having a couple people come up to me and say, hey, aren't you the internet guy? Ben's a server over at Hero Sushi, which is fantastic in Sage Creek. It's getting married this year. Thanks so much for saying hi. Thanks so much for being a fan. And also a big shout out to Brad and Alan. Alan found me in Costco. Great guy. Go Jets go. Brad found me getting a sandwich in Safeway. What's it with people always finding me getting food? Gotta eat, right? Thank you so much to all those guys. I appreciate it. Thank you to the city of St. Louis and ESPN 101 for having me on. Now let's break down some goals. Let's talk about this game more in depth. Let's get to the great stuff. First storyline here is the big booming shots from the point. Look at Winnipeg actually trying to get to the point. This didn't happen before. Winnipeg left way too much of a gap. They leave their man in front. I understand you got to do that, but Coach Ryan D said it. Life and limb to the point. Nothing else matters. Connor Hellebuyck over here, shallow in his crease. I will explain why for everybody that continues to scream, why is he in his crease? Parayko steps up. That puck ends up to the middle. I get it. Dylan DeMello had to go to the top. He had to go to Parayko. This is the change. Right now, this is a change. This is different from last game. So Winnipeg has implemented it. Puck goes off the stick. Hellebuyck is there for the save. One big thing about being shallow in your crease is it allows you to move laterally left to right, covering more ground than if you're far out of your crease. And take a look what happens right after this save. Hellebuyck makes a beauty here. It pops out. It hops over the St. Louis player's stick. Boom, right there. But Hellebuyck is actually able to make that pushover and cover some of the net. I'm not saying he would have made the save. There was still an open spot. But even though he's falling here, he has a little bit of a chance to push and he can cover more net because he's deeper in the crease. The Blues, once again, going from low to high, keeping it simple. Send it to Parayko, let him shoot bombs. That is the strategy. Well, who's up here to block it? It's Dylan DeMello again. So again, this is a change. This isn't a one-off when you have a defenseman going off to block a shot from another defenseman again. Battle ensues in front of the net. Here we go. It's Josh Morrissey. As the shot goes through, take note, Connor Hellebuyck deep in his crease. This gives him a little bit of extra time to react. He's looking around butts and bodies here, and he makes a bit of a change here. He anticipates a little bit of a guess. We called it an educated guess today. Pushes out to the right, finds that puck. Great save. Conversely, at the other end, it's Jordan Binnington. Binnington likes his scramble ability. Perfetti's walking out from the corner here, and Binnington's able to read and react to it and take away the entire length of the post. Now, Perfetti could have bumped this one out instead of carrying it through, and you might have seen a bump out to Connor back over Vilardi or even further over here to Mark Scheifele, but Perfetti calls his own number, walks it across, and Binnington's able to make that big athletic stretch out. A lot of goalies can do this. This isn't special to Binnington, but he is a damn good goaltender, and he was on his game tonight, even though a few went in on him. The giant save, everybody knows. Once again, Hellebuyck in the blue paint. Slightly out of it. Jets power play. Puck moves across that royal road. If Connor Hellebuyck is any further out on this play, unless he fully anticipates the pass and commits completely over to the other side, Binnington is so good at doing that. Hellebuyck likes to keep his angles square. Athletic goalie, but he doesn't move till he needs to. He makes that push over, and he is able to just get the paddle on it. And that right there is what Connor Hellebuyck is expected to do. It's what he's paid to do, and he did it. And you can call him lucky, you can call him good, just don't call him late for supper, as he ends up paddle saving that one. They don't ask you why. They just look at the scoreboard. And it's because of his positioning and his ability to play athletically that he gets it. Great job. First time we've seen Hellebuyck really steal one, and he steals it at the perfect time. Because it would have been a backbreaker, absolute backbreaker, if that would have gone in against the Jets on a power play. Storyline number 2 of the night is shown on the first goal. The Blues are dragging the Jets into deep water, into the mud, and trying to drown them. Hits, cross-checks, everything you can imagine to punish the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets have to shake it off and play with speed. They cannot change the way they play. I mean, just take a look at the Faska line here. Faska, Toropchenko, Walker. When you take a look at their 4 defensemen, Fowler, Parayko, Broberg, Falk, come over here to the size. Every single one of these defensemen on the Blues, Broberg, 220, Falk, 214, Fowler, 210, Colton Parayko, machine, 228, Toropchenko, 6'6", 220, and Radek Faska, 6'3", 215. Just ask Mark Scheifele about that one. The Jets, DeMello, 194, Morrissey, 195, Pionk, 190, Samberg, big boy, 216. The point is the Jets are tough, but they got to be careful not to get dragged into the slog fest. First thing that happens, Appleton goes down to the high stick. No call. What are we going to do? Whine about it? It's the playoffs. You're never going to get any calls you want or expect, period. As he goes down, Mark Scheifele is going to get in there on the forecheck. Takes that puck away. Now what we see is we got to focus in on Kyle Connor. He showed back up tonight. Blues, Textier. He's got an option here. He either needs to get between Connor because the defensemen, they're over here in a battle, or he's going to stay high because he might have to cover the points in case they sneak out. If it was my choice, I'd have him between the goalie and the net, but it isn't my choice. I'm not Jim Montgomery. I'm not the Blues. I'm not an NHL player. So he's not in a wrong position. Scheifele's in a battle. He ends up poking it over to Appleton behind the net. Get up, suck it up, Buttercup. He goes to complain to the ref, but in the meantime, he gets lucky and finds a puck, kicks it through over to Scheifele, and look, he's even got time during the kicking motion to say, where's my high sticking call? Wouldn't have mattered anyway because the Jets are about to score. Scheifele is going to find Connor, get it through Leddy. Leddy is the man between Connor and there, but with the release of Connor, you have no chance. Now, because the game has changed, we are on the wrong side if you're the St. Louis Blues at this point, and it only takes a second for the Jets and Connor to put it in. This is where Binnington becomes vulnerable. He made a play here. He got low, assuming it would be a low side, maybe a jam, maybe he lost Connor, maybe not, but he's got to protect that post, and by shrinking down and protecting that post, he has a massive amount of daylight above him. You want to score on Binnington, you got to score up high. Down low is never going to work. Connor does it, 1-0. And there's that pushback from the Jets. There's that shaking off the deep water as you get dragged in, but it's only one goal. The next big storyline to happen is going to be special teams. Penalty kills, power plays. Well, guess what? Both teams killed penalties perfectly. The Jets desperately needed that. Their penalty kill has been awful. Adjustments made on the penalty kill, it works. The Blues, though, answer back. Tried and true methodology. Give the puck to 55, bomb it from the point. Appleton gets out here to block it. It doesn't work. That puck gets through to Walker, and this line just had an absolutely amazing night, and he's able to beat Hellebuyck. As much as we want to pick on anybody here, they're up high, they're trying to get up high, and they need puck support. Where Winnipeg gets lost here is in front of the net, and it only happened once. This was, to me, the bad time at the beginning of the night. You got to get between them, and you got to clean them out. We were just talking about how big the Blues are. Well, guess what? Nathan Walker's 5'9", maybe 185 pounds, soaking wet with rocks in his pocket. Play is bigger, though. That puck gets to the point. Nino isn't there. Morrissey isn't there. Morrissey's covering the back door. He's in fine position. Nina Ryder has an opportunity to get in and clear him. But you know what? You just got to give full marks here to the Blues. Full credit. Walker gets to that net, does his job, screens Hellebuyck. And you can see it here on the battle. Walker, Nino, in the mud. Battle. Walker waits. Nino loses him. As the puck goes out to the top, Nino's trying to decide here. Should I be going out? Should I be not? I would prefer you either go out or take a man. But this is sometimes what happens when a winger gets caught down low playing the role of a defenseman in this place. That's what happens when we change spots. Walker gets lost. Great job. That's the job of a forward. Get lost. You don't want to be in a battle if you're a forward. Sick tip. Bomb from Parayko. 1-1. And you got to think the Jets are feeling it at this point in time. Nervous energy. The fans were, but these guys are professionals. The President's Trophy winners. This is gut check time. This is championship time. Turn it around or fold. What are you going to do? Well, 11:32 left in the first. Nemestikov going wide. Odd play if you're Winnipeg. Normally you're going to see him pull up, button hook, control the puck. Nope. Shot on goal. This is a change for Winnipeg. This is the second change. Players to the front, battle, throw pucks on net. As the Jets get into that battle, they do their best St. Louis Blues impression. Throw it to the point. Keep it simple. Don't get cute. Big Dylan Samberg with the puck. Moves it over to Neil Pionk. What do we talk about all the time? Length and width. That moves Binnington across his entire crease at this point in time. You got to respect the fact that he's likely going to shoot, put the puck on net, but he just moves it right back to Samberg. I think this is way too big of a gap for me, but you also have to be able to retreat back to your net. I don't like where he is in the Blues, but I absolutely love this for the Jets. Puts it back to Samberg. And now Binnington has to re-angle. Look at Nino and Binnington in that battle. He's trying to get around him. Nino's a big guy. Quick little snapshot. It's not a slap shot. And he beats him short side. As he comes in, that puck beats him on the left side. And that's because Binnington was already cheating to the right side. Educated guesser. Fantastic goalie. You got to do what's unexpected in this series. And Samberg puts a bullet perfectly on net with a really good screen through 3 or 4 guys. Blues, Snuggerud, goal, drive the middle. F2 always drive the middle. Robo, Rob Thomas, look to find the late man delaying and catch the big men who can't move as quick as you can off their game. Stanley and Schenn are needed on the Jets for their size, but they're going to get caught by line one. Lowry in a good spot. Everybody in a good spot, but sometimes skill players are just going to be skill players. Thomas threads that needle. They've practiced this a million times. Snuggerud comes through, picks up that puck, and this is one Connor Hellebuyck should have. He's not going to think much about it tonight after that win, but he should have this puck. Sneaks through his 5-hole along the ice. Full credit to line one on that one there from St. Louis. Absolutely unbelievable pass. Easy drive to the net. Keep it simple. Case method. Do what has brought you to the dance. Don't overthink it. No pro curls, no looking high. Simple triangle attack. Really nice job. Now comes the biggest moment in the game. 2-2. Mark Scheifele out. Injured. Gabe Vilardi. Super important player. Physical, great hands. In the corner. Gets tied up. Little bit of a bump. That's fine. All he's trying to do is delay long enough for support. A Jet has to come in and support here, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's waiting for his buddy. He takes away Fowler. It's fine that Fowler hit him. There's no problem there. You're always looking to create 2-on-1s. That 2-on-1 becomes a 3-on-1 because they move that puck to Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor's going to go low to high to Dylan DeMello, changing the game again. Normally what would happen? We'd start getting cute with a bunch of crisscross applesauce passes. DeMello this time sees, and he can almost feel it. Vilardi is coming around the back of the net. This is a very smart player with the nose for the net. He may not be fast, but those hands are really good. DeMello lets a little wrister go. Vilardi gets in front. Vilardi doesn't get the goal. It goes off Parayko's butt. But that's all right. Sometimes you shoot for luck and it ends up going in. But everything else about that play was tactically set out to lengthen and widen the zone against the St. Louis Blues and get Jordan Binnington moving. And that is exactly what they did tonight. Simple shots on net, keep them guessing, throw it anywhere near, see what happens. If it doesn't go off Parayko's stick or butt, maybe it goes off Vilardi's stick, maybe it goes off nobody's. This is the point of hockey. Create chances and create your own luck. What the Blues did to the Jets just did it right back. End of the second, instead of getting scored on, Kyle Connor makes a defensive play. We picked on him last game and said he wasn't doing this. Connor steps in, separates man from puck. He's not the biggest hitter. I don't even know if that counts the hit. It doesn't matter. Takes the puck away, and now what are we going to do? Neutral zone regroup. D to D, baby. D to D, catch the Blues on a change. This happens so many times in the NHL. You're by your bench. You go, may as well change. Terrible time to change. You got to be aware of this. Every team does it. Every team gets caught on it. But now you have numbers. Over to Appleton. Appleton knows, I don't have the legs for this. That's fine. He waits and delays because, again, set triangle play. You practice this over and over. Just like the Blues on the robo line here, we have Appleton. Feeds a pass, super high skill play. This is what you're paid to do if you're Kyle Connor. Takes it off his backhand behind him. That is all skill. Almost any other player on the Jets, they miss that puck and it isn't a goal. He waits, feeds absolutely sick backhand pass right through the legs. Easy goal for Nemestikov. No chance for Jordan Binnington because truly, I don't think Binnington made this guess. I think he thought it was going to be nothing, a broken play or a shot. I don't think he believed Connor could accept that puck or move that puck through Falk. But that's the beauty of the Jets. When the Jets are off an inch, they're off a mile. This is a team that everything is done in inches, millimeters if you're Canadian. The Blues took that away at home. Winnipeg got a rest in their bed. Maybe they got to kiss their wives goodnight and they read their kids a bedtime story, whatever they needed to do, which is good because they came back at it. And they took that inch back. And that made all the difference in the world today. Now, I left the hit by Brayden, Schenn, and Faska till the end. It's the controversial piece. They have been beating the living heck out of Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey, and Kyle Connor this entire series. Why wouldn't you? It's the best players. You want to take liberties if the referee is going to allow you to take liberties, and the ref is allowing them to take liberties. That's the playoffs, baby. That's the way it goes. And the Jets haven't had enough of a response to this, in my opinion. You cannot let players take runs at your stars like what has been happening. Cross checks, hit to the back. I understand you have to play through it. And Scheifele, Connor, and Morrissey are playing through it. But someone else on this team has to step up and take a run at a couple of these guys. The fact that a guy like Adam Lowry, and it's too late now, by the way, we're so deep into this series, we don't have time. The Winnipeg Jets do not have time to engage in this. They have to stay out of it, and they have to score. That's what they need to do. In the early part of the series, I think this is a huge lesson learned. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3. Parayko touches your guy, hit Parayko. Faska touches your guy, hit Faska. You can't go one-on-one with these guys. They're bigger than you, but you've got to find a way to get your licks in and let them know they can't touch your player. Now here's that hit. Brayden Schenn coming in. Mark Scheifele not looking. Pick your head up on the trolley tracks. He's looking for a puck. Runs him over. Now you hear me talk about these hits all the time on this channel. It's not my job to be a referee. It is the player's job to protect himself. Jets fans, you think he took a liberty with him? He did. That was the point. That's what they've been doing all series. You think it's dirty? They're not worried about it. Players aren't worried about it. It's playoff hockey. Somebody needed to respond well before this ever happened. Did this injure Mark Scheifele? I'm unsure. He took a massive hit from Faska later on as well, too. He might be in concussion protocol. I'm unsure. His whole body might just be exploded into soup. I'm unsure. What I am worried about, though, if you were the Winnipeg Jets, is that the history of Mark Scheifele being injured or suspended against the Habs, loss. Injured against the Canucks, the Flames due to Tkachuk, we went on to lose again. This team really needs Mark Scheifele. Where I'm encouraged, though, and heavily encouraged, when Scheifele was out, this team stepped up and played their best hockey. They're deep enough to win without Scheifele. And if Scheifele is gone for a game or two, I don't think it'll be long-term, but we'll have to wait and see. The Jets have had no luck with injuries right now. If he is gone for a game or two, this will be the ultimate test of whether or not this team can become a champion, because it is no longer about just beating the Blues if you're the Winnipeg Jets. You need to get to the next round as well, too. Don't look too far ahead, but you can't celebrate like you've won the Stanley Cup once you get through this series, because there's 3 more you got to get through. You need to stay tuned, get through this series, do what you need to do, but you don't want to overvalue the wins at the end of this series if you get it. So you need to find out if you can dig down deep and play without your leader. They have other leaders, but Scheifele is one heck of a leader on the Jets. Blues, you have your chance to punch back next game. Home ice seems to matter. I've heard a lot of people talking about the fans. How about the change? Line matching matters. That's where a coach really gets to do his best work, especially in the playoffs. He gets to mix and match lines, and so far line matching has been critically important for both Montgomery and Arneal. Going back into hostile territory, St. Louis, the Jets are not going to be able to get that change. So fans aside, and fans are important, that change does matter. St. Louis is going to be able to create those matchups, and we're going to have to see if Arneal has an answer for the seasoned coaching prowess of Jim Montgomery, because so far at home ice, Jim Montgomery has eaten his lunch. Arneal has eaten his lunch on his home ice. The Jets have home ice advantage in 7, but we said 5 is the most important game in the series. The most important game in the series is the next one. It's always the next one. This one just told a chapter, a page, part of the story. Just because 80% of the teams win after game 5 doesn't mean 20% won't win, and we don't know where this one's going to land. So there's a lot of series left to go. I don't think St. Louis is going to make any wholesale changes at home. It's worked for them. Just one game. They didn't play bad here. The Jets just took everything away from them, especially offensively. When St. Louis goes home, they'll have to see if they can use that line matching and that home ice advantage to get back those big shots from the point. And Winnipeg will have to see, without line matching and possibly without Mark Scheifele, if they can dig down deep and find a way to do it in hostile territory.